afternoon in India, good morning in Portugal.
Good afternoon to you, Pedro. Um, how are you today?
I'm doing really great. Thanks to Ratnish for the inspiring session just a few minutes ago. It's really good. I use a lot of Power Automate, so it's really good to see the presentation too. And now I bring something a bit different, also related to the Microsoft Office suite to the session.
Yes, Pedro. Thank you so much for that. And apologies for keeping you waiting for 5 minutes
No worries.
and starting your session a little bit late. But then I think we can adjust the time during the break time session as well. So feel free for that extension as well.
Okay.
Just would like to introduce Pedro. So Pedro has got multiple achievements and hats to his name profile already. He is MVP. He is MCT, and it's an honor for us to have you today, Pedro, in this Global Power Platform Bootcamp, Mumbai, India. Knowing that these sessions are currently being organized worldwide, and yet you have shell out some time for us as well. So thank you so much for that. And today's topic for Pedro is that he's going to show us how to convert the Power BI into our PowerPoint presentation in just 5 seconds. And handing over the mic to you, Pedro, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Shabir, and thanks for the presentation. So, hello everyone. It's my delight to be here in this session today in the Global Power Platform. So, welcome everyone. Today I'm here with you to present the Power from Power BI to PowerPoint presentation, done very quickly in 5 seconds if we can. I want to show you how this amazing feature can help us make presentations even more engaging with the Power BI and PowerPoint together. So what are we going to see today? During this demo, I'll show you how you can connect it directly, your PowerPoint, to a Power BI live presentation in just a couple of seconds. I'll show you all the features available, like getting new data to PowerPoint. I'll also show you which kind of filters you can pass in the report. I'll show you how the navigation works between different report pages, for example. I'll also show you that you can save a static image of the report if you prefer. And before we proceed, I will also share some facts and figures about PowerPoint that it's important to know, and some of the issues while using PowerPoint to support data-driven decisions. So thanks, Shabir, for the presentation that you have just done. Besides the thing that you say, just to share with everyone here in the conference, I submitted to talk at this conference because I work at Natixis as an expert leader, and we have a very strong connection with India. I've had in my teams different people coming from different places in India, namely Mumbai and other parts of India. So we have a good connection. I became to know a little bit about the culture. So I'm really happy that I was able to speak today in the session today. So I'm also the leader of the user group of Power BI Portugal. So I organize also events and I invite everyone. We do it in English many times. So I invite everyone that wants to see some conferences also and network with the guys at Portugal to come to the Power BI Portugal group. You have my contacts here if you enjoy the session, and I'll also post it in the end of the presentation. So starting with the PowerPoint. As you know, PowerPoint is the most used and widely adopted presentation software, and it has really changed the way that we present and we communicate. It was first developed in 1984 under the name Presenter by Robert Gaskins and Dennis Austin, and this was a tool to present graphics and text in a dynamic and interactive way. In order to continue the development, well, they needed more capital, they needed to raise capital, and here came Apple, and it included as one of the strategic products for the Macintosh. In January 1987, so they were going to register the name Presenter, but it was already utilized, so they came up with another name, and hence PowerPoint was born. Well, then afterwards, in July 1987, in the same year, Microsoft acquired PowerPoint just a couple months afterwards its launch, and it was the price was somewhere around the $14 million, which was a lot by the time, and it was to become a core component of the Microsoft Office suite. Well, the rest, it's history, and PowerPoint has continued to evolve and to grow and bring a lot of features like more accessibility, image editing, predefined layouts, embedded camera, and much more. So PowerPoint has become even more friendly, more powerful, and we can expect it to continue to grow in the future. People use it for all types of presentation, for the business, for the educational, and the impact on these kinds of points is undeniable. PowerPoint has made it, on one side, more engaging, more interactive, and made more people able to do these presentations in a wider audience. In recent years, also, there was a lot of advancements and innovations, and so PowerPoint is part of what we call the Microsoft Office 365 suite nowadays. Coming to 2023, so do you guys know how popular and influential the software is? Well, so let me share some facts and figures about the history, popularity, and impact of PowerPoint that I think it's good to know. And the first thing is that it's estimated that over 500 million use PowerPoint worldwide, and even some sources quoting this figure as going up to 1 billion users. There are over 35 million presentations done with PowerPoint every day, and this accounts to over 30 billion hours each year spent on creating and preparing PowerPoint presentations. These figures are staggering, and they demonstrate how important it is to have an accurate and updated method of presenting information in a synthetic and reliable way. PowerPoint does this trick, but there are billions of hours. I can see 30 billion hours spent per year preparing and getting presentations ready. So if you found yourself spending hours to update a presentation and then to realize the information is outdated, or if you had to rush to finalize a presentation because you spend a lot of time on the formatting and updating the charts, well, you're not alone, and people spend hours each week updating their presentations, which leads to a significant loss of productivity. So what are some of, I categorized the problems on using PowerPoint by itself on four problems that Power BI can help to solve with the demo that we're going to see today. The problem number one is the time waste, because presentations are often recurring, and so the figures presented in the slides need update and maintenance. And so these updates are in almost all of the cases manually, creating charts, copy-pasting them into PowerPoint, screenshots, and this kind of thing. It's very time-consuming. The second problem is the data quality. So the fact that most of the updates are manual make it much more prone to human error. For instance, forgetting to update a slide, making a mistake on updating some data like in Excel, and then the chart is not correct, copying the chart with the wrong figures. This kind of thing can have a problem on the data quality. The problem number three is that it's static. If you are on a presentation with many slides and figures, there is always a time where someone will come with a question where the slides don't have the information you need completely readily available. So, and then you would want to know to use the same source, the report, and just apply a filter, go to a country, go to a product category, drill down to some details, and you cannot do it directly with a PowerPoint. So this is the problem that is static. The fourth and final problem is the data synchronization. Data continuously changes, and if you want to capture the data at a specific time, you need the availability to capture the data at that designated point. So according to how the reports are set up, this might be easier or harder to acquire this information, and it might require some manual calculation. Other case, you just gather the values for your presentation. There was a fix implemented in the data source, and some of the values changed. And if when you presented, the stakeholders might look at a slightly different figure than the one that you are presenting, and this undermines the confidence in your message. So it would be great for PowerPoint to be able to be completely synced with the data that we have in the Power BI. This was already possible to some extent with the PowerPoint in Excel elements, like you could create a chart and you could embed this chart that you have in Excel directly in PowerPoint as a dynamic object that you could refresh or not. But the reality for most information workers was a lot of copy pasting and even VBA to some extent. There is a better way now with PowerPoint and Power BI since May 2022, a new feature released that allows directly to connect a PowerPoint page to a Power BI presentation. So enough with the talk, and we'll go to the demo. So I am here in my Power BI environment, and I have a couple of workspaces available. One of the workspaces I have available is a Pro workspace that you can see. I have some of them in the Premium, but I'll use a Pro workspace so that you know that this works perfectly there. So I'm on powerbiservice.com. And so I open the marketing report that I have on this Power BI and PowerPoint presentation. You will see this is a very standard report just for demonstration purposes. And you can see we have some KPIs like the revenue year to date, the target for this year, how many customers we have right now, and what is our market share. I can also filter the report, for instance, by different countries, and you will see that the data will be updated in our report. We also have a trend of our revenue and the target, and we can see that we are doing quite well in this company, and we are right now on November 2022 on the data that we have on the report. There are also some different pages that we can use with the navigation. For instance, one on the customer analytics, where we can see the acquisition of new customers. Like on one point, we have 393 customers. We acquired 21 in February. We lost 12. So we went up to 402 customers. So this report is very much standard, and I'll show you how we can link this with the PowerPoint. We have a couple of options on the Export tab. We already had the option to analyze in Excel. We also had the option like to export to PDF with the current values or with the default values of the report. And then we could export just the current page or all the pages. Now we have also the option to do this to PowerPoint. We can embed this as an image. And when I click embed as an image, I have the same options as on the PDF, just the current values, the current or the default values, and just to export the current page or all the pages that I have in the report. So if I do with the default values, which is all the countries, and I click on export, I have already done it before, and it will open it will download a file that you can see, and it has a cover page showing your marketing report, and then it has, you can see this is a static image that you have for each of the report pages. You have a static image that it was downloaded from the Power BI service. Okay, so this is great, but then if I want to click on the filters, you can see it's not possible. So going back to the Power BI service, now we have the new option, which is to embed, to export PowerPoint directly with live data. So I'm going to do that with the live data, and I want to embed the report with the filters you selected or just with the standard filters. In this case, it's the same because I didn't filter any country. So let's try it out and open it in PowerPoint. I can click it here, and we'll open a new PowerPoint with the interlink. It's already opening here on the other side. I'll move it here. And a new page is being opened with a direct link between PowerPoint and the Power BI service. Okay, so this is loading our data, and here you go. In a couple of seconds, this is completely, the other one. This is completely updated, and we can test. You can see that if I click on one of the countries, it's completely connected, and I can interact directly with my data in the PowerPoint. Okay, so this is very good. This is something that's very interesting, how fantastic this is. The next time you need to refresh your presentation, one of the features that I have now in this link is that I have a couple of buttons here in the bottom, and you can see that I have a button which allows me to refresh my data. In this case, it's already refreshed, but if it wasn't, I can refresh it. And also, there are other options like I can open the filter pane that I have here on the side. You can see here. I have a couple of options. Let me show you the filter pane. And if I have more filters here, I can also apply them. You can see I have, for instance, the year month, and I can apply or hide the filter pane. So very interactive. Which other things I can do here while I am on the report? So on the PowerPoint, I have this all interactive possibilities. I can even click, you see on the different pages that I have on the navigation pane, and inside PowerPoint, I can navigate and go to the other pages. I can do this directly with the navigation pane. I can do this if I had an option, to drill through. I don't think I have in this report here, but if I could right click and drill through to another page, that would also allow me to navigate between the different pages. What I can't do is, as you can see, I have a navigation pane here on the top left side of the Power BI service, where I can click on the different pages, and this on the PowerPoint doesn't exist. Meaning that if you don't have a navigation through buttons or through any other method in your PowerPoint, you will not be able to navigate then between the different pages that you have in the report, even if you have multiple pages there. So this is one of the points. Okay, so I showed one method of connecting the PowerPoint with the Power BI, and this brought two pages, one just with an explanation how to get the add-in, and the page with the connection. So let me create a new slide, and I'm going to show you. There is also an option to start this from scratch. And in the PowerPoint, in the Insert menu, you can get an add-in. You can see here, get an add-in. And when I click on it, I'll go to the Office add-in store. And you can search, there is one Power BI. And you can add this one, the Microsoft Power BI add-in. And I can add it to our PowerPoint. Once I add it, it will open this window that we can see here, and it will ask me to add a report here by filter. So it just copy paste a report and a filter. I will very quickly duplicate this for 3 times. I want 4 slides. And I'm going to go back to the Power BI service and click on the export button, PowerPoint, embed live data, and now I can embed with the filters I selected. So let's try the behavior of this. So I'm going to copy it a first time and copy paste the link here with the filters that I have selected, which is all the countries. In the meanwhile, I'm going to change the filters and I'm going to select just the USA, and I'm going to do the same thing, PowerPoint, embed live data with the filters I selected. I'm going to copy. So all countries here, let's try it out with the second filter. Now I'm going to copy a filter with the USA applied. I'm going to do very quickly the same thing for the other countries, because my objective here, I want to create a report which has 4 slides. It could have 30, 40 slides, that every time I open, I have a page for each of the countries, so that I don't have just a single slide and I'm going to click on each of them. I already have prepared all the link to do my presentation and show the status of each of the countries. So I'm going just to copy the link for Mexico too on another page, and a final time just for the Canada. Canada. Okay. And I'm going to get this link, embed live data, copy, a final time, and I have my report here ready. So 1 page with all the countries, 1 page with USA, 1 page with Mexico, and 1 page with Canada. So my file is ready. I'm going to save it. Let me just save this. I'm going to call it my dynamic marketing report. Okay, so let's save this. And I want to demonstrate a behavior that I'm going to explain now. So this page that has the USA filter, I'm going to remove it now, the filter from USA, and apply a filter all. You can see. Now this page has all, this page has all, and the other pages, one has Mexico and the other one has Canada. So let me save again. And when I close this PowerPoint, I'm going to open it again. You can see here my dynamic marketing report. And let's see what happens now that I open the PowerPoint again. Okay, so this page is loading. And I have the filter all as it was expected. And on the second page, what will I have? Will I have it all or will I have USA? So you remember that I changed in the report the filter here to the all. Let me get here the refresh. Okay. So I have my all. On this one, I have my all. On this one, my Mexico. And on this one, I have my Canada page. Okay. So this way I can interactively play with my report and I can prepare the pages in the way that I needed to be displayed for my stakeholders. Okay, so let me save this version. Now what happens if the data is going to change, but for the next month I want to keep a static version of this report? So I have a menu on the side here that allows me to convert directly this page into a saved image. So I can click on this button here, and you can see this was converted to a static image. However, it also converted, you see the filter pane is also converted. So this was not what I wanted. Fortunately, I can revert back with this feature. So I can click on it and it will fetch again the report with the link that I have passed here to the report. So it's reloading the data again. And what I can do now is I can hide, the filter. I can hide it. And now I can show this as a saved image. Okay. So I can save it. And the next time that I open, even if the data changes in the Power BI service, I will still have the same link for this page, the same data, to make sure that I can demonstrate it. On the next month, I can come here. Okay. Click here. And I can turn it again to a dynamic image. So this is one option, but as I have a lot of slides, if I want to do this for all of them, this can be a bit annoying to do. So there is a method that we can do this with. We cannot do this process to convert to images for all of the pages. There is an alternative with some VBA to the rescue. So if I can save as, I'm going to do a save as. And I'm going to store this as a macro enabled workbook, macro enabled presentation. I can save it. And what I can do now is I have some code here that I'm going to open. Okay, so I have some code from an article from Eric Svensson. You have the link here also if you want to consult it afterwards. And I can copy this code into my VBA presentation. I can click Alt F8, and I'm going to create a new macro just with the dummy name, new macro, create. I'm going to replace the code here. I'm going to save it. And this, what will it do? If I now click Alt F8 and I run this convert Power BI to images macro, it will go through loop to each of the pages and it will convert all of them to images. Okay, let's just confirm. So if I really need to do this, you see now this converted to images, but not dynamic images that I can revert back to the presentation. So this is one way to do it. It will also make, of course, if you have the filter pane open or any object like clicked on a tooltip or on a bookmark, it will save the image as it was open on that point. So this is just a nice to have if you want to use it to do this. I can also add further code if I want to every month save this with the name of the month, the termination. So for instance, if I create a new macro, let me create a new one. And this second macro is going to be save as PowerPoint with the year and the month suffix. So if I save it here in the editor and I run it, okay, so you will see that a new file appeared here. Dynamic marketing report, macro will enable 2023-02. Okay. So this is just a nice to have that if you really need to do this conversion, it can save you some time. So what is important to know also, I have my report here on the Power BI desktop, and I'm going to do a change and add some new data to the report, namely the data of December. So I'm going to reopen my PowerPoint. Okay, my PowerPoint presentation that is linked, the dynamic report. And you can see here that my first and second tab, you see here, this one is already loaded and it has the data of 2022-11. This page here for USA already also with 2022-11, and I still haven't opened the other pages. So going to our report, I'm going to edit my calendar dimension just to simulate that I'm going to add more data to the report and say that the end date is going to be 31st of December of 2022. Let's try it out. Okay, so I have a new month of data. I'm going to save this and I'm going to publish it and replace the report I have on the Power BI service. So let me publish it on top of the existing report. And let's see what will happen now. Okay, done. So the report is published. And now you can see that on this report page that I had already preloaded, the data is still the same. On this one, the same. But if I open the third page, which I think it had either the Mexico or the Canada filter, when loading the page, it will retrieve from the URL the data from the Power BI service. So I can see that I have now the month of 2022-12 brought to this page, and the same thing will happen to the last page. So if you store already the page in cache when you refresh it, then you will need, for retrieving the latest data, you can just go here on the bottom. Let me go. I will remove from converting to image. This one will start as an image. So now it will reload the data again, and it will brought me the latest data, 2012. Okay. And on this one, I can click and see, say, refresh. And you can see now I have the data for 2022-12. So it works very well. Other features that I have also, just to mention, is you have these other buttons where you can just clear the data. Let me show on one of the pages. You can just click, clear the data, and you will have just a blank screen where you can copy paste an URL back to the report here. Okay. So doing a quick recap of the session. What's important to know? You now know that you can link a PowerPoint slide to a Power BI report in a dynamic way. You need to install the Power BI add-on from on PowerPoint via store, okay? And after I've shown you here, let me open back the report here. After you install this the first time, when you go to the Insert tab, you see I already have here the plugin Power BI available for the next time. I can click on it and it will add me, the tab just to add a new report here on the PowerPoint. So what else? You know now that you can pass filter values to your report from the report to your PowerPoint, like I showed, to pass a different filter for a specific year or for a specific country. The changes to filters inside PowerPoint only produce an effect during the presentation, and they are not saved. So the filters are passed through the URL. You could see that after I reload here a second time my report, the first page had the filter with all the countries, and the second page had a filter for USA, the third one, the Mexico, and so on. The navigation between the pages works by any other method than the panel that we have on the Power BI service, because that object doesn't exist in the PowerPoint. So you can navigate with the bookmarks, drill through, or any other method between the pages on your report. The data is refreshed in Power BI when you open the actual slide, as we've seen when I loaded the data for the month of December of 2022. Unless you refresh it, it will not retrieve the latest data. You can save the Power BI frame to a static image and go back later, or with the method with the VBA, it just converts everything to a static image that you cannot revert, but it does it automatically. Not all of the visuals work with this integration. I will just mention in the next slide which visuals do not work with Power BI and PowerPoint integration. And the access required for the user is the normal access to the report. So if the user is on PowerPoint and he has access to the report, the standard licensing applies, meaning that if you are a pro user and the report is being shared in the pro workspace, you can access it. If you are a free user and the report is being presented in a premium workspace capacity, you will be able to access it. And also, one important thing is that the role level security applies. So your user, if the report has role level security, you will only see the data that you are entitled to see. So I mentioned that some of the visuals that are not supported, for instance, the R and Python visuals and the Power Apps, Power Automate visuals, and some of the maps. So they are not currently supported on this feature, so just be aware of that. There is also some documentation regarding the administration information for the PowerPoint. There is a possibility to actually control, if I go into the admin portal, there is one of the options. I can try to check very quickly here. The ability to export as a PowerPoint presentation or PDF documents. So this ability can be either enabled for the entire organization, can be enabled just for specific user groups, or you can also do the opposite, which is you enable it for the entire organization and disable it for specific security groups. So you have this option also with the administration panel too, and a couple other things that I'll leave here the link for the documentation. So I hope you enjoyed this session, and now you know a bit more about the behavior of Power BI and PowerPoint working together. You have my contacts here. Feel free to reach me and network, my email, my LinkedIn, and also my Sessionize page with all the sessions that I'm going to present in the near future. Thank you very much, and I'm open to any question that you guys might have after the presentation.
Thank you for that session, Pedro. That was really insightful. I'm sure that will skyrocket productivity for most of us here. I also shared your links in the chat.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Just looking at the chat if you have any questions. No, we don't have any questions. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. We still have a couple of minutes more before moving on to our next speaker.
Okay, so I hope it was clear for everyone. I tried to take it really step by step to to show you exactly the how it works, which filters are passed, which filters are not passed, because this seems simple, but sometimes it's good to really know what will be the behavior so that your presentation works well. So I see a question from
from Shabir. How is security managed in case of the PowerPoint?
Yeah, so of course, on the PowerPoint, you need to be signed in with your Office 365 account. And where you are signed in, you can only access add reports which you have the access on the Power BI service. So if you have the URL, even if someone sends you an URL of a report with some filter, if you don't have the access and it's your account that is logged on the Office 365, you will not be able to access the report. So it's exactly the same as trying to open the report on the Power BI service. And the role level security applies too.
Great. Hope that answers, Shabir. Any other questions? Right. All right. That was a good one, Pedro. Thank you again for taking time out today on a Saturday and joining us for the Global Power Platform Bootcamp all the way from Portugal.